Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly achieve their goals while others struggle to make lasting changes? The answer often lies not in talent or resources, but in their mindset and habits. Your mindset shapes how you view the world, approach challenges, and create opportunities. The habits you build in turn reinforce that mindset every day. The good news? Both mindset and habits can be cultivated, regardless of where you start. In Mindset Path, Cultivate Positive Habits for Life, you'll embark on a journey to transform your life step by step. This book is your guide to breaking old patterns, creating meaningful routines, and building a mindset that supports lifelong growth. Each chapter will give you practical tools, relatable examples, and actionable exercises to help you stay on track. Are you ready to take the first step? Your journey begins here. Chapter 1. Starting the Journey. Understanding your mindset. Have you ever stopped to think about how your mindset shapes your day-to-day decisions? It's not something most people often consider, but your mindset acts like a lens through which you view every situation, challenge, and opportunity in life. This lens can either empower you to move forward with confidence or hold you back with doubt and fear. In this first chapter, we'll explore what mindset truly means and why it's the critical first step in cultivating positive habits for life. Your mindset isn't just about having a positive attitude or telling yourself that everything will be fine. It's deeper than that. It's the underlying set of beliefs and assumptions that influence how you approach the world. Imagine two people facing the same obstacle. One sees it as an opportunity to learn and grow, while the other views it as a dead end. What's the difference? Their mindsets. The first person has what psychologist Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, while the second operates with a fixed mindset. In simple terms, a growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort and practice, whereas a fixed mindset assumes that your skills and talents are set in stone and unchangeable. Let's take an everyday example. Think about learning a new skill, like cooking. If you've ever struggled with a recipe, you might have felt frustration creeping in. Someone with a fixed mindset might say, "I'm just not good at cooking," and give up, deciding that culinary skills aren't for them. On the other hand, someone with a growth mindset would think, "This didn't turn out the way I hoped, but I can learn from my mistakes and try again." The difference lies not in the skill level, but in the approach. The first person walks away discouraged, while the second builds resilience and improves with time. Understanding your mindset is powerful because it allows you to identify areas where you may be unknowingly holding yourself back. Take Mia, for instance, a young professional who often found herself procrastinating at work. She assumed she was naturally unmotivated and accepted this as part of her personality. But when she started to reflect on her mindset, she realized she was avoiding tasks because she feared failure. She wasn't procrastinating because she was lazy. She was doing it to protect herself from the discomfort of potential mistakes. By shifting her perspective, she began to see these tasks as opportunities to improve. Each time she completed a task, even if it wasn't perfect, her confidence grew. Mia discovered that her procrastination wasn't a permanent flaw. It was a pattern she could change with awareness and effort. Cultivating a growth mindset doesn't mean you'll never feel doubt or frustration. These feelings are normal. The difference lies in how you respond to them. A growth mindset encourages you to face challenges with curiosity rather than fear. Instead of asking, "Why am I failing?" you start asking, "What can I learn from this experience?" This shift from judgment to exploration creates a space for growth. Challenges become less intimidating and more like opportunities to discover your potential. One way to begin shifting your mindset is to pay attention to your self-talk, the inner dialogue that runs through your mind. If you catch yourself saying things like, "I'll never be able to do this," pause and reframe it. Replace it with a thought like, "I don't know how to do this yet, but I can learn." These small shifts in language have a profound effect over time. Your brain starts to believe what you tell it, and over time, these positive messages reshape how you see yourself and your abilities. It's also helpful to surround yourself with people who inspire a growth-oriented outlook. Think about friends or mentors who encourage you to try new things or share stories of their own struggles and successes. Their energy can be contagious, reminding you that growth is a process, not a destination. If you don't have such influences in your life, books like this one, podcasts, or even online communities can serve as powerful substitutes. The key is to immerse yourself in environments that foster curiosity, resilience, and the belief that you can improve. Let's not forget that understanding your mindset also means forgiving yourself when things don't go as planned. Progress is rarely a straight line. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when you feel like giving up. These moments don't define your journey, they're simply part of it. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." It's a reminder that perseverance, more than anything else, it determines your success. Edison didn't view his setbacks as failures. He saw them as steps on the path to discovery. This perspective allowed him to keep moving forward, no matter how many obstacles he faced. Another strategy for cultivating a growth mindset is to celebrate small wins. When you focus only on big achievements, it's easy to feel discouraged by the gap between where you are and where you want to be. But small victories, like completing a task, learning something new, or overcoming a minor challenge, build momentum. They remind you that progress is happening, even if it feels slow. Lastly, remember that changing your mindset isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifelong journey. There will be days when old habits of thought resurface, or when challenges make growth feel impossible. That's okay. What matters is your willingness to keep trying, to keep questioning, and to keep believing in your ability to improve. Each effort, no matter how small, contributes to the larger transformation. By understanding and nurturing your mindset, you're not just preparing yourself for success. You're building the foundation for a life filled with growth, resilience, and purpose. As we move through this book, we'll dive deeper into the habits and strategies that help you maintain this mindset and use it to shape a fulfilling life. But for now, take a moment to reflect on how your current mindset influences your actions. What beliefs are guiding you today, and which ones might you need to reframe? The answers to these questions will help you take the first step toward cultivating a mindset that empowers you. As you close this chapter, take a moment to reflect on your own mindset. What beliefs do you hold about your abilities and potential? Are there areas where you've been limiting yourself without even realizing it? Begin to notice these patterns and don't judge yourself for them. Instead, see them as opportunities for growth. The journey to cultivating positive habits starts with understanding how you think and being willing to challenge old, unhelpful beliefs. To apply what you've learned today, try this simple exercise. The next time you face a challenge, pause and observe your initial reaction. Ask yourself, am I approaching this with a fixed or growth mindset? Then, consciously choose to reframe the situation in a way that empowers you. This small step will set the tone for the chapters ahead, where we'll dive deeper into building the habits that align with your growth-oriented mindset. Your path to transformation begins here. Chapter 2, Mapping Your Path, Setting Clear Goals. What would you do if someone handed you a map but didn't tell you where you were headed? You might wander aimlessly, taking random turns, unsure if you were making progress. The same is true in life. Without clear goals, it's easy to feel lost, overwhelmed, or stuck in routines that don't lead anywhere meaningful. In this chapter, we'll explore the importance of setting clear goals, how to align them with your values, and how they act as the foundation for building positive habits. Setting goals is about more than just deciding what you want to achieve. It's about creating a vision for your life that excites and motivates you. Goals give you a sense of direction, helping you focus your energy on what matters most. Without them, even the best intentions can become scattered. But when you define your goals clearly, you create a powerful roadmap that guides your actions and keeps you moving forward, even when challenges arise. Think about Sarah, a young artist who spent years dabbling in different projects without much progress. She loved painting, but without a clear sense of what she wanted to achieve, she often felt uninspired. One day she sat down and asked herself, "What do I truly want to accomplish with my art?" She realized her dream was to hold her own gallery exhibition. Once she set this goal, her energy and focus shifted. She started dedicating specific hours each day to painting, learning new techniques, and networking with other artists. Within 2 years, her dream became a reality. This story highlights the transformative power of clarity. When your goals are specific, they provide a framework that helps you prioritize your time and effort. Vague goals like get better at art or be more productive lack the precision needed to inspire action. Instead, defining a goal like complete 20 pieces for an exhibition within 2 years creates a clear endpoint and makes the steps to get there more tangible. Another key aspect of effective goal setting is aligning your goals with your values. Your values represent what truly matters to you, the principles that bring meaning and fulfillment to your life. When your goals are connected to these values, they become more meaningful and you're more likely to stay committed to them. For example, if one of your core values is family, setting a goal to create more quality time with loved ones might resonate deeply with you. On the other hand, pursuing goals that conflict with your values often leads to frustration or burnout. Take Mark as an example. He set a goal to climb the corporate ladder because he thought it was the key to success. However, as he achieved promotion after promotion, he felt increasingly disconnected and stressed. After some reflection, he realized that his core values were creativity and autonomy, which were missing from his high-stakes corporate role. Mark decided to realign his goals, transitioning to a career in graphic design. The change was challenging, but it brought him closer to his true values and gave him a renewed sense of purpose. Once you've identified your goals and ensured they align with your values, the next step is breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps. Large goals can feel intimidating, but when you divide them into achievable tasks, they become less overwhelming. Imagine you want to run a marathon. If you focus solely on the 26.2 miles, it might seem impossible. However, if you start by running 1 mile, then 2, and gradually build up over time, the goal becomes attainable. Progress, no matter how small, builds momentum and confidence. One challenge many people face is staying motivated over time. Life is full of distractions and setbacks, and it's easy to lose sight of your goals. This is where habits come into play. By turning small actions into consistent routines, you create a system that supports your larger objectives. For example, if your goal is to improve your fitness, developing a habit of exercising for 30 minutes each morning ensures steady progress, even on days when motivation is low. Another powerful strategy for maintaining focus is visualizing your goals. Close your eyes and imagine yourself achieving your desired outcome. Picture how it feels, what you see, and who's there to celebrate with you. Visualization strengthens your emotional connection to your goals, making them feel more real and achievable. Athletes, entrepreneurs, and creatives often use this technique to stay inspired and driven. As we wrap up this chapter, it's important to acknowledge that goal setting is not a one-time activity. Your life, values, and circumstances evolve, and your goals should adapt accordingly. Take time to revisit your goals regularly, reflecting on whether they still align with your vision and adjusting them as needed. Flexibility ensures that your goals remain a source of inspiration rather than a rigid checklist. Now, let's put this into action. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what is one goal I truly want to achieve in the next 6 months? Write it down, ensuring it's specific and aligns with your values. Then, list 3 small steps you can take this week to move closer to that goal. This exercise will help you gain clarity and begin mapping your path toward success. Remember, every journey begins with a single step, and you're already on your way. Chapter 3: Breaking Old Patterns. Overcoming Obstacles. Why is it so hard to break old habits, even when you know they're holding you back? You might have the best intentions, set meaningful goals, and start strong, only to find yourself slipping back into familiar patterns. The truth is, old habits and thought patterns can feel like comfortable routines, even when they no longer serve you. Breaking free from them requires awareness, patience, and persistence. In this chapter, we'll explore how to identify and overcome the obstacles that keep you stuck, so you can clear the path to building positive habits. The first step to breaking old patterns is understanding why they exist. Habits form because they serve a purpose, often providing comfort, efficiency, or even a way to cope with stress. For example, consider Emma, a busy teacher who found herself snacking on unhealthy foods late at night. She didn't do this because she was hungry, but because it was her way of unwinding after a long, exhausting day. Her habit wasn't about the food itself. It was about the comfort and relaxation it symbolized. This insight is critical. When you recognize what need an old pattern fulfills, you can begin to address it in healthier, more constructive ways. For Emma, replacing her late-night snacks with a calming cup of tea and a few minutes of journaling allowed her to relax without compromising her health. The key isn't to fight the old habit, but to replace it with one that aligns better with your goals. Another challenge in overcoming obstacles is the mental resistance we all experience. When faced with change, your brain often clings to what's familiar, even if it's not beneficial. This resistance can take the form of self-doubt, fear of failure, or even procrastination. Take Daniel, for example, who wanted to start exercising regularly but struggled to get out the door. His mind would fill with excuses. "I'm too tired," or "I'll start tomorrow." These thoughts weren't rooted in reality, but in his brain's natural tendency to avoid discomfort. Overcoming this resistance requires shifting your mindset and breaking down the barriers into manageable pieces. Daniel's breakthrough came when he stopped focusing on the entire workout and instead committed to putting on his running shoes and stepping outside. Once he did that, he often found the motivation to keep going. By focusing on just the first small step, he was able to bypass the mental resistance and build momentum. Accountability can also play a significant role in breaking old patterns. When you involve others in your journey, you create an external source of motivation and support. This doesn't mean you need to announce your goals to the world, but sharing them with a trusted friend, mentor, or even a support group can make a difference. Consider Mia, who struggled with staying consistent in her writing. She joined a local writing group where members shared their weekly progress. Knowing she'd be asked about her work gave Mia the push she needed to stay on track, and the encouragement she received from others kept her motivated. One of the most important lessons in overcoming obstacles is the value of self-compassion. It's easy to feel frustrated or even defeated when you fall back into old patterns, but these moments are part of the process. Every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. Treat yourself with kindness, and instead of focusing on what went wrong, ask yourself what you can do differently next time. This shift in perspective not only helps you recover faster, but also builds resilience. To illustrate this, think about Jacob, who set a goal to limit his screen time in the evenings, but found himself scrolling through social media out of habit. Instead of berating himself, he used the experience to reflect. He realized that the trigger for his habit was boredom and that he needed an alternative activity to fill that time. Jacob decided to keep a book by his couch and began replacing his scrolling with reading. Over time, his new habit became second nature, and his evenings felt more fulfilling. Breaking old patterns isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. Progress often feels slow, but every small step you take moves you closer to your goals. Celebrate these small victories, no matter how insignificant they may seem. Did you skip the sugary snack once this week? That's progress. Did you show up for the first 5 minutes of a workout? That's progress too. Each positive choice reinforces the new path you're carving for yourself. As you wrap up this chapter, take a moment to reflect on the patterns or habits that might be holding you back. What need or purpose do they serve? How can you begin to replace them with habits that align with your goals? Remember, the process of breaking old patterns isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about understanding, experimenting, and adjusting as you go. Here's a practical exercise to help you apply what you've learned. Think about one habit or pattern you'd like to change. Write down the triggers that lead to this behavior and the emotions or needs associated with it. Then brainstorm one small, positive action you can take to address the same need in a healthier way. Commit to trying this new action for the next week and observe how it feels. You may be surprised by how even a small change can set the stage for lasting transformation. The path forward is yours to create, one step at a time. Chapter 4: Building Your Toolbox. Essential Habits for Success. What if you had a set of tools that could make life's challenges easier to navigate and your goals more achievable? Essential habits act like those tools, providing you with a reliable framework to handle uncertainty, stay motivated, and progress steadily toward your vision. In this chapter, we'll explore some key habits that serve as the foundation for personal success and learn how to integrate them into your daily life. Habits are the small, consistent actions that shape the bigger picture of your life. While grand gestures and bold moves are exciting, it's often the quiet power of these small habits that lead to lasting success. Think about brushing your teeth, something so routine you barely think about it. But imagine the long-term consequences if you didn't have this habit. Similarly, the right habits can create a ripple effect, positively influencing many areas of your life. Take, for instance, the habit of planning your day. Mia, a busy working mom, often felt overwhelmed by her endless to-do list. She started the habit of setting aside 10 minutes each evening to plan the next day. She prioritized her top 3 tasks and blocked time for them on her calendar. This small shift gave her clarity and focus, reducing her stress and making her feel more in control. Over time, the habit of planning not only helped her accomplish more, but also improved her confidence. Another essential habit is prioritizing self-care. It's easy to dismiss self-care as indulgent or unnecessary, but in reality, it's the foundation of your energy and focus. Consider Daniel, an entrepreneur who constantly burned the candle at both ends. He realized he was neglecting his health, which was affecting his productivity and mood. Daniel committed to exercising for 20 minutes every morning, even on his busiest days. At first, it felt like a chore, but soon it became a non-negotiable part of his routine. This simple habit improved his physical health, boosted his energy, and made him more effective in his work. Gratitude is another powerful habit that can transform your mindset and outlook. By taking a moment each day to acknowledge what you're thankful for, you train your brain to focus on the positive aspects of your life. Emma, who had struggled with anxiety, started keeping a gratitude journal. Each night she wrote down 3 things she was grateful for. They didn't have to be big. Sometimes it was as simple as enjoying a good cup of coffee or receiving a kind text from a friend. Over time, this practice helped her feel more grounded and less overwhelmed by challenges. The habit of consistent learning is also crucial for growth and success. Whether it's reading, listening to podcasts, or taking online courses, feeding your mind with new ideas and perspectives keeps you adaptable and innovative. Sarah, an aspiring photographer, made it a habit to watch a 10-minute tutorial each day. These small lessons added up, and within a year, her skills had significantly improved. This habit not only advanced her career, but also deepened her passion for photography. One of the greatest challenges in building essential habits is staying consistent, especially in the face of distractions or setbacks. This is where the concept of habit stacking can help. Habit stacking involves attaching a new habit to an existing one, making it easier to integrate into your routine. For example, if you want to practice mindfulness but struggle to find the time, you could pair it with an activity you already do, like brushing your teeth or brewing your morning coffee. By linking the two, the new habit becomes part of an established routine. Another strategy for building habits is starting small. Grand ambitions can feel overwhelming, but starting with tiny, manageable steps builds momentum and confidence. Mark, for instance, wanted to write a novel but found the idea daunting. Instead of aiming to write an entire chapter, he committed to writing just 1 sentence each day. Often that single sentence would lead to a paragraph, and some days even a page. This approach allowed him to overcome inertia and eventually complete his first draft. Accountability also plays a significant role in habit formation. Sharing your goals with someone you trust or joining a group of like-minded individuals can provide the encouragement and motivation you need to stay consistent. For example, joining a running club or signing up for a fitness challenge can make exercise more enjoyable and help you stick with it. As you build essential habits, remember that progress, not perfection, is the goal. Life is unpredictable, and there will be days when you falter. The key is to approach these moments with self-compassion and get back on track. Each small effort you make reinforces the habit and brings you closer to your goals. To bring this chapter's lessons into your life, start by identifying one essential habit you'd like to cultivate. Ask yourself, what small, consistent action can I take that will have a positive impact on my life? Write it down and commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Reflect on how it feels and the changes you notice, however subtle. Remember, each new habit you build becomes a valuable tool in your journey toward success. You're not just building habits, you're building a life you can be proud of. Chapter 5, Consistency is Key. Turning actions into habits. Why do some people seem to make steady progress toward their goals, while others struggle to maintain momentum? The difference often boils down to consistency. It's not about doing something perfectly every time, or making grand efforts on occasion. It's about showing up, day after day, even when it feels inconvenient or challenging. In this chapter, we'll explore the power of consistency, how it turns small actions into lasting habits, and how you can harness it to create meaningful change in your life. Consistency is the bridge between intention and achievement. Many people set ambitious goals, but without consistent action, those goals often remain unfulfilled. Imagine planting a seed and expecting it to grow into a tree overnight. It doesn't happen. Growth takes time, nurtured by regular watering, sunlight, and care. The same principle applies to building habits and achieving goals. Small, consistent actions, compounded over time, lead to extraordinary results. Consider Jack, who wanted to improve his physical fitness. At first, he imagined he needed to overhaul his entire routine: long gym sessions, strict diets, and early morning workouts. Overwhelmed by the idea, he kept postponing his efforts. Then, he decided to start small. Jack committed to doing 10 push-ups every morning, no matter how busy he was. It seemed almost insignificant at first, but the daily practice quickly became part of his routine. Soon, 10 push-ups turned into 20, and then 30. Within a few months, he had developed a habit that felt effortless and was seeing noticeable improvements in his strength and energy. The secret to Jack's success was not the intensity of his effort, but his unwavering consistency. This is the power of the compound effect. Small, repeated actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they accumulate over time to create significant changes. This concept applies to all areas of life, whether it's saving money, learning a skill, or fostering relationships. A single act might not feel impactful, but its repetition builds momentum. However, consistency often meets resistance, especially when motivation wanes. Life gets busy, unexpected obstacles arise, and some days the energy to continue just isn't there. This is where discipline becomes essential. Discipline is not about forcing yourself into uncomfortable routines. It's about having a system that supports you even when motivation fades. For example, setting a specific time each day for your habit creates a routine that feels automatic, reducing the mental effort required to follow through. Take Emily, who struggled to write regularly for her blog. She often waited for inspiration to strike, but that left her inconsistent. Finally, she set a rule for herself. Every morning at 8 a.m., she would write for 20 minutes, no matter how uninspired she felt. Some days the words flowed easily, other days it was a struggle. But by sticking to her schedule, Emily not only improved her writing, but also built trust in her own ability to follow through. The act of showing up consistently became more important than the quality of each session. Accountability can also strengthen consistency. When you share your goals or habits with someone else, you create an external layer of commitment. For instance, Anna and her friend Lily decided to support each other in their fitness goals. They agreed to check in every evening to share what they had accomplished that day. Knowing that someone was counting on her kept Anna motivated, even on days when she felt tempted to skip her workout. Over time, their accountability system turned fitness into a shared, enjoyable part of their routines. It's also important to set realistic expectations. Many people fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking, believing that if they can't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. This mindset can sabotage consistency. Imagine Sarah, who set a goal to meditate for 20 minutes daily. One particularly hectic day, she didn't have 20 minutes to spare and felt tempted to skip her practice altogether. Instead, she chose to meditate for just 5 minutes. It wasn't what she initially planned, but it kept her streak alive and reminded her that even small efforts count. Celebrating small wins along the way can help reinforce consistency. Each time you follow through on your commitment, no matter how minor, take a moment to acknowledge it. These small celebrations signal to your brain that the habit is rewarding, making it more likely you'll continue. For example, John, who was learning to play the guitar, allowed himself a favorite treat after every practice session. This positive reinforcement helped him stay motivated and consistent. Consistency doesn't mean never faltering. Life is unpredictable, and setbacks are inevitable. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. Treat every misstep as an opportunity to learn, rather than a failure. Reflect on what caused the slip and adjust your plan to make future success more likely. For instance, if you miss a workout because of a late meeting, consider scheduling your exercise earlier in the day to prevent the same issue from derailing you again. To apply the lessons of this chapter, identify one small action that aligns with your goals and commit to doing it consistently for the next 7 days. Don't worry about intensity or perfection. Focus on showing up. At the end of each day, reflect on how it felt to follow through and notice any changes, however subtle. By practicing consistency, you're not just building a habit, you're building trust in your ability to create lasting change. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. Each step forward, no matter how small, moves you closer to the life you envision. Chapter 6. Mindful Momentum. Staying present on the path. Have you ever found yourself so focused on the destination that you forget to enjoy the journey? In our pursuit of goals, it's easy to get caught up in future outcomes or dwell on past setbacks. Yet the key to sustained progress and genuine fulfillment lies in staying present. This chapter explores the power of mindfulness and how cultivating a present-focused mindset can enhance your habits, reduce stress, and help you stay aligned with your path. Mindfulness, at its core, is about bringing your attention fully into the present moment. It's the practice of observing your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. When applied to habit building and personal growth, mindfulness helps you become more aware of your actions and their impact. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing what matters with intention and focus. Consider Rachel, a project manager who constantly felt overwhelmed by her packed schedule. She would rush through tasks, her mind always jumping to the next item on her to-do list. This scattered approach left her feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. One day, Rachel decided to try something different. She began practicing mindfulness by dedicating 5 minutes each morning to sit quietly and focus on her breath. Over time, this simple practice spilled into other parts of her day. Instead of rushing through tasks, she started approaching them one at a time, fully present. The result? Greater clarity, better performance, and a deeper sense of satisfaction. Mindfulness also plays a vital role in helping you navigate challenges. When setbacks occur, the natural reaction is often frustration or self-criticism. Mindfulness allows you to pause, observe your emotions, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, James, a sales executive, struggled with rejection when clients declined his pitches. It would ruin his day and shake his confidence. Through mindfulness, James learned to acknowledge his disappointment without letting it define him. He began to see rejection as part of the process, focusing instead on what he could learn and improve. This shift in perspective helped him stay resilient and motivated. Another benefit of mindfulness is its ability to break the cycle of autopilot behavior. Many of our habits are performed unconsciously, driven by routines and triggers we barely notice. Mindfulness brings these patterns to light, giving you the power to choose your actions rather than simply reacting. Take Laura, for example, who had a habit of reaching for her phone whenever she felt bored. By practicing mindfulness, she started recognizing the impulse and questioning it. Is this what I really want to do right now? This pause allowed her to make intentional choices, like reading a book or taking a short walk instead. Mindfulness doesn't require long meditation sessions or drastic lifestyle changes. It's about weaving moments of awareness into your day. One way to do this is by practicing single tasking. Instead of multitasking, focus on completing one activity at a time with your full attention. Whether it's preparing a meal, writing an email, or having a conversation, single tasking helps you engage more deeply and find joy in the moment. Gratitude is another mindful practice that can shift your perspective. When you take time to appreciate what's going well in your life, you counterbalance the tendency to focus on problems or shortcomings. Emma, who struggled with stress at work, started a daily habit of writing down 3 things she was grateful for. This simple exercise helped her reframe her challenges and approach her day with a more positive outlook. To stay present on your path, it's also important to let go of perfectionism. Often, the pressure to do things perfectly pulls you out of the moment and creates unnecessary stress. Mindfulness teaches you to accept where you are right now, flaws and all. Progress is not about flawless execution, but about showing up consistently and learning along the way. Imagine Mark, a student who wanted to improve his study habits. He set a strict schedule for himself, but often felt discouraged when he couldn't stick to it perfectly. This all-or-nothing mindset made him feel like a failure and derailed his progress. By embracing mindfulness, Mark learned to approach each study session with curiosity rather than judgment. If he missed a session, he didn't dwell on it. Instead, he focused on what he could do in the present to get back on track. Mindfulness also enhances your ability to celebrate small victories, which is essential for maintaining motivation. Every step forward, no matter how small, deserves acknowledgement. For instance, if your goal is to exercise regularly and you manage to take a 10-minute walk on a busy day, that's a win. Mindfulness helps you notice these moments of progress and appreciate them, fueling your desire to keep going. As you integrate mindfulness into your journey, remember that it's a practice, not a destination. Some days, staying present will feel effortless. Other days, your mind will wander, and that's okay. The goal isn't to achieve perfect focus, but to gently bring your attention back whenever it drifts. Over time, mindfulness becomes a natural part of your routine, enriching every aspect of your life. To apply what you've learned in this chapter, take a moment to pause and reflect. What is one area of your life where you tend to feel rushed, stressed, or distracted? How can you bring more mindfulness to that area? Start with a small practice, such as taking a few deep breaths before beginning a task or spending 5 minutes each day observing your thoughts without judgment. By staying present on your path, you'll not only make steady progress, but also find greater joy and fulfillment in the journey itself. Chapter 7. Embracing Challenges. Growth through Adversity. Why is it that some people seem to thrive under pressure while others crumble? The answer often lies in how they view challenges. While adversity can feel overwhelming, it's also one of the most powerful catalysts for growth. In this chapter, we'll explore how embracing challenges can help you build resilience, learn valuable lessons, and develop a stronger, more adaptive mindset. Challenges are an inevitable part of life. Whether it's a demanding project at work, a personal setback, or an unexpected change, everyone faces obstacles. The difference lies in how you respond. When you see challenges as opportunities rather than threats, they become stepping stones rather than roadblocks. This shift in perspective doesn't make difficulties disappear, but it empowers you to navigate them with greater confidence and purpose. Consider Olivia, a recent college graduate who struggled to find a job in her field. Rejection after rejection left her feeling defeated, and she began questioning her abilities. One day, she decided to reframe the situation. Instead of viewing each rejection as a failure, she saw it as a chance to improve her approach. Olivia sought feedback from interviewers, refined her resume, and practiced her interview skills. Within a few months, she landed a job that aligned perfectly with her goals. The experience not only strengthened her resilience, but also taught her the value of persistence and adaptability. This idea of seeing challenges as opportunities is rooted in the concept of a growth mindset, which we discussed earlier. A growth mindset allows you to view setbacks as temporary and solvable, rather than permanent and insurmountable. It encourages you to focus on what you can control, your effort, attitude, and willingness to learn, rather than external factors beyond your influence. Another key to embracing challenges is managing your fear of failure. Fear often paralyzes people, making them avoid difficult situations altogether. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's a vital part of the process. Every failure provides valuable insights that bring you closer to your goals. Thomas Edison, for example, famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His perseverance in the face of repeated failures ultimately led to one of the most significant inventions in history. Think about Ryan, an aspiring chef who entered a cooking competition. Despite his best efforts, he didn't win. Initially, he felt embarrassed and discouraged. But as he reflected on the experience, he realized he had learned new techniques, gained confidence in presenting his dishes, and received valuable feedback from the judges. Instead of giving up, Ryan used these lessons to refine his skills, and he eventually opened a successful restaurant. One practical way to embrace challenges is to reframe your inner dialogue. When faced with a difficult situation, pay attention to the story you're telling yourself. Are you saying, "This is too hard," or "I can't do this"? Try replacing those thoughts with empowering ones like, "This is an opportunity to grow," or "What can I learn from this?" These small shifts in language can significantly impact how you perceive and approach adversity. Support systems also play a crucial role in navigating challenges. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage and uplift you can make a world of difference. For example, Emma, who was preparing for a demanding certification exam, often felt overwhelmed by the workload. She joined a study group where she found not only practical help, but also emotional support. Knowing she wasn't alone in her struggle gave her the strength to keep going, and she ultimately passed the exam with flying colors. It's also important to remember that challenges don't have to be tackled all at once. Breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps can make them feel less daunting. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you focus solely on the summit, the journey might seem impossible. But if you take it one step at a time, each small effort adds up. And before you know it, you're closer to the top. The same principle applies to any challenge, whether it's starting a new business, learning a skill, or overcoming a personal setback. Mindfulness can also be a powerful tool for managing stress during challenging times. By staying present and focusing on the task at hand, you can avoid becoming overwhelmed by the magnitude of the situation. For instance, when Mark faced a major deadline at work, he found himself spiraling into anxiety about everything that could go wrong. Instead of letting those thoughts consume him, he practiced mindfulness by taking deep breaths and concentrating on one task at a time. This helped him stay calm and focused, allowing him to complete the project successfully. As you reflect on this chapter, think about a recent challenge you faced. How did you approach it? Did you see it as an opportunity to grow, or did it feel like an insurmountable obstacle? Consider what you learned from the experience and how you might handle similar situations differently in the future. To apply the lessons from this chapter, choose one current challenge in your life. Take a moment to reframe it as an opportunity for growth. What lessons might this challenge be teaching you? What small steps can you take to move forward? Write down your thoughts and revisit them regularly to remind yourself of your progress. Remember, every challenge you face is shaping you into a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Embrace the process and trust that you have the tools to rise above any obstacle. Chapter 8: Expanding the Horizon. Building supportive relationships. Have you ever noticed how the people around you influence your habits, mindset, and overall outlook on life? Relationships are powerful. They can uplift and inspire you, or they can hold you back. The journey to cultivating positive habits and a growth-oriented mindset isn't one you need to travel alone. In this chapter, we'll explore the importance of building supportive relationships, how they contribute to your growth, and ways to nurture connections that align with your goals. Humans are inherently social beings, and the relationships we maintain significantly impact our well-being and success. The people you spend the most time with shape your attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors, often in subtle, unconscious ways. Imagine a group of coworkers where complaining is the norm. Over time, even the most optimistic individual may find themselves adopting a similar attitude. Conversely, surrounding yourself with individuals who encourage and motivate you creates an environment where growth and positivity flourish. Consider Lisa, a young entrepreneur who struggled with self-doubt as she launched her business. Initially, she hesitated to share her challenges, fearing judgment. But when she joined a local entrepreneur group, everything changed. She found herself surrounded by people who had faced similar struggles and were eager to share advice, celebrate wins, and offer support during setbacks. These relationships gave Lisa the confidence to persevere and the insights she needed to refine her business strategies. Her success became a shared celebration within the group, and the connections she made became lasting friendships. Supportive relationships provide more than just emotional encouragement. They can also serve as practical resources. For example, a mentor with years of experience in your field can offer guidance and help you navigate obstacles more effectively. Peers working towards similar goals can hold you accountable, share ideas, and celebrate milestones together. Even casual acquaintances can inspire new perspectives or introduce opportunities you hadn't considered. But building supportive relationships requires intention. It's not just about finding people who align with your values, but also about being the kind of person who contributes positively to others. Strong relationships are built on trust, respect, and mutual effort. Think about Marcus, who wanted to become a better leader at work. He realized that leadership wasn't just about directing others, but about building genuine connections with his team. He started actively listening, showing appreciation for their contributions, and offering support when challenges arose. Over time, these actions strengthened the team's cohesion and improved their overall performance. At times, building supportive relationships also means reevaluating existing ones. Not every relationship in your life will support your growth, and that's okay. Some connections may be rooted in negativity or limiting beliefs that don't align with the person you're becoming. This doesn't mean you have to cut ties completely, but setting healthy boundaries can create space for relationships that nurture your development. Take Jake, for example. He realized that his close friend group often discouraged his efforts to improve his health. When he tried to make healthier choices, they teased him or pressured him to join their unhealthy habits. Jake didn't abandon his friends, but he began spending more time with people who supported his goals. He joined a local running club where he found a community that shared his enthusiasm for fitness and celebrated his progress. This balance allowed him to maintain his old friendships while prioritizing connections that aligned with his new priorities. Another essential aspect of building supportive relationships is practicing vulnerability. Opening up about your goals, struggles, and aspirations can feel intimidating, but it's often the foundation of meaningful connections. When you share your journey authentically, you create opportunities for others to connect with you on a deeper level. Emma, for instance, struggled with anxiety about public speaking. When she confided in a colleague, she discovered they had faced similar fears and had found strategies to overcome them. This shared experience strengthened their bond and gave Emma the tools and encouragement she needed to succeed. Reciprocity is also key to nurturing supportive relationships. It's not just about what others can offer you, but about how you can contribute to their growth as well. Small acts of kindness, words of encouragement, and a willingness to listen can go a long way in building trust and fostering connection. Think about Sarah, who made it a habit to send handwritten thank you notes to her colleagues after major projects. This simple gesture not only strengthened her professional relationships, but also created a culture of appreciation within her workplace. As you build and nurture supportive relationships, it's important to celebrate the diversity of the connections in your life. Each person brings unique perspectives, experiences, and strengths to the table. By embracing this diversity, you expand your own horizons and open yourself to new ideas and possibilities. For example, attending a book club introduced Liam to a wide range of viewpoints he hadn't considered before. These discussions not only enriched his understanding, but also deepened his empathy and ability to connect with others. At the heart of supportive relationships is the understanding that growth is a shared journey. When you surround yourself with people who inspire and encourage you, their energy becomes contagious. Likewise, when you invest in others' growth, you create a ripple effect that benefits everyone involved. Together, you build a community of support that makes challenges feel lighter and victories more meaningful. To apply the lessons from this chapter, reflect on the relationships in your life. Who uplifts and supports you? Who challenges you to grow in positive ways? Consider one relationship you'd like to nurture further and think about how you can contribute to it. Reach out to that person this week. Whether it's a heartfelt conversation, a kind gesture, or simply spending quality time together. Remember, the connections you build are not just a part of your journey. They are the threads that make it richer, stronger, and more rewarding. Chapter 9, Celebrating Milestones, Recognizing Your Progress. How often do you pause to acknowledge how far you've come? In the rush to achieve our goals, it's easy to overlook the progress we've made. Yet celebrating milestones, both big and small, is a vital part of the journey. It fuels motivation, builds confidence, and reinforces the positive habits that lead to lasting change. In this chapter, we'll explore why celebrating milestones matters, how to recognize progress in meaningful ways, and how these moments of acknowledgement can energize your path forward. Progress often happens gradually, one small step at a time. Without reflection, it's easy to focus solely on how far you still have to go, rather than appreciating what you've already accomplished. Imagine climbing a mountain. If you only fixate on the distant summit, you might miss the breathtaking views along the way. Celebrating milestones allows you to pause, look back, and take pride in the distance you've covered. Take Rebecca, for example, who set a goal to write a novel. At first, the prospect of completing an entire book felt overwhelming. But instead of waiting until the end to celebrate, she marked smaller milestones, finishing the first chapter, reaching 10,000 words, and completing her first draft. Each celebration, whether it was treating herself to a favorite dessert or sharing her progress with a friend, gave her a boost of encouragement. Recognizing these moments reminded Rebecca that she was capable of reaching her larger goal, one step at a time. Celebrating milestones is not just about acknowledging achievements, it's also a way to sustain motivation. Research shows that small rewards create positive reinforcement, making it more likely that you'll continue the behaviors that led to success. This principle is evident in fitness journeys. Imagine someone training for a marathon. Celebrating milestones like running their first 5K or achieving a new personal best keeps their excitement alive and helps them stay committed to their training plan. Sometimes progress may not be as visible or linear, but it's no less worthy of celebration. Consider Alex, who was working to overcome social anxiety. His milestones weren't measured in grand achievements, but in everyday victories. Making eye contact during conversations, speaking up in meetings, or attending a social gathering without feeling overwhelmed. By recognizing and celebrating these small wins, Alex gained confidence and momentum, gradually expanding his comfort zone. It's important to celebrate milestones in ways that feel meaningful to you. For some, a quiet moment of reflection might be enough. For others, sharing their progress with loved ones adds a sense of connection and joy. Olivia, for instance, celebrated her progress in learning a new language by writing a letter to her grandmother in their native tongue. Sharing the letter deepened their bond and reinforced Olivia's commitment to her goal. Celebrations don't have to be elaborate or expensive. Sometimes the simplest gestures are the most impactful. Sarah, who was saving money for her first home, rewarded herself with small treats every time she reached a savings milestone. Whether it was enjoying a picnic in the park or buying a book she'd been eyeing, these moments of acknowledgement kept her motivated and focused on her larger goal. Reflecting on milestones also helps you appreciate the lessons learned along the way. Not every step of the journey will go as planned, and that's okay. Challenges and setbacks are often the greatest teachers. By celebrating your ability to overcome obstacles and adapt, you shift the focus from perfection to progress. Consider Daniel, who set out to improve his time management skills. Although he occasionally missed a deadline, he celebrated the fact that he was meeting most of them, a significant improvement from where he started. This approach kept him motivated to keep refining his process. While it's important to celebrate your own milestones, Don't forget to recognize and celebrate the progress of others. Supporting and uplifting those around you creates a positive, encouraging environment that benefits everyone. When Emma noticed her friend Mark making strides in his fitness journey, she surprised him with a handwritten note of encouragement. Her gesture not only reinforced Mark's commitment, but also deepened their friendship. As you reflect on your milestones, it's essential to practice gratitude. Gratitude amplifies the joy of celebrating by shifting your focus to the positive aspects of your journey. It reminds you of the support you've received, the lessons you've learned, and the progress you've made. Keeping a gratitude journal, or simply taking a moment to say thank you to yourself and others, enhances the sense of fulfillment that comes with each achievement. Ultimately, celebrating milestones is about more than rewards or recognition. It's about honoring the effort and growth that brought you to this point. It's a reminder that success is not just about reaching the destination, but about appreciating the journey itself. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your resilience, determination, and commitment to your goals. To apply the lessons from this chapter, think about your current journey. What milestones have you already reached? How can you celebrate them in a way that feels meaningful to you? Whether it's treating yourself, sharing your progress with someone you trust, or simply taking a moment to reflect, make time to acknowledge and honor your efforts. Remember, celebrating milestones is not just a reward, it's a way to keep your momentum alive and your spirit inspired. Every step counts, and each one brings you closer to the life you envision. Chapter 10. Sustaining the Path. Living a life of positive habits. As you reflect on your journey, have you considered what it takes to sustain the progress you've made? Building positive habits is a remarkable achievement, but the real challenge lies in maintaining them for the long term. In this chapter, we'll explore strategies for integrating your habits into a sustainable lifestyle so they become a natural and enduring part of who you are. Sustainability begins with alignment. The habits that stick are often those that resonate deeply with your values and goals. When your actions reflect what truly matters to you, they feel less like chores and more like extensions of your identity. For example, Olivia, a health-conscious professional, began walking to work, not just as a form of exercise, but as a way to support her value of environmental responsibility. This alignment made the habit feel purposeful and enjoyable, helping her sustain it over time. Another key to sustainability is adaptability. Life is full of changes, new jobs, evolving priorities, unexpected challenges, and your habits must be flexible enough to adapt. Consider James, a young father who had developed a habit of meditating every morning before work. When his first child was born, his mornings became unpredictable, and he found it difficult to stick to his routine. Instead of abandoning the habit, James adjusted his approach. He began meditating during his lunch break, finding a quiet moment to reconnect with himself amidst the busyness of his day. By staying adaptable, he preserved the essence of his practice even as his circumstances changed. Maintaining positive habits also requires a focus on balance. Overloading yourself with too many commitments can lead to burnout, making it harder to stay consistent. Emma, for instance, set out to adopt multiple habits simultaneously. Waking up earlier, exercising daily, learning a new language, and journaling every night. While her enthusiasm was admirable, it quickly became overwhelming, and she struggled to keep up. Realizing this, Emma prioritized the habits that were most meaningful to her and allowed herself to let go of the rest. This approach restored her sense of balance and made her habits more sustainable. Accountability is another powerful tool for sustaining habits. Sharing your goals with a trusted friend or joining a supportive community can keep you motivated and engaged. Take Mark, who joined a local running group to help him stay committed to his fitness routine. The camaraderie and shared goals of the group not only kept him accountable, but also made his runs more enjoyable. Over time, running became less of a solitary effort and more of a social experience he looked forward to. Celebrating progress, as discussed in the previous chapter, is equally important for long-term sustainability. Recognizing your achievements, no matter how small, reinforces your commitment and reminds you why you started. For instance, Sarah, who had successfully built a habit of saving a portion of her income each month, rewarded herself with a small treat every time she hit a savings milestone. These moments of celebration kept her motivated to continue. It's also helpful to revisit your why regularly. Your original motivation for starting a habit can serve as a powerful anchor, especially during times of doubt or difficulty. Alex, a teacher who had cultivated the habit of reading for personal growth, often reminded himself of his why, his passion for being a better mentor to his students. This reminder gave him the drive to pick up a book, even on days when he felt too tired or busy. Over time, the habits you sustain will become part of your identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to eat healthy," you'll naturally think of yourself as someone who makes mindful food choices. Instead of saying, "I'm working on being more organized," you'll see yourself as a naturally organized person. This identity shift reinforces your habits and makes them feel less like something you're doing and more like who you are. But sustainability doesn't mean perfection. Life will inevitably throw curveballs, and there will be times when you falter. What matters is your ability to bounce back. Treat setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and adjust. When Rebecca missed a few weeks of her workout routine due to an injury, she initially felt discouraged. But instead of giving up, she focused on what she could do, like gentle stretches and walking, until she was ready to resume her full routine. This mindset kept her connected to her habits and helped her recover without losing momentum. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role in sustaining habits. By staying present and aware, you can regularly evaluate how your habits are serving you. Are they still aligned with your goals? Are they bringing value to your life? Mindfulness allows you to make intentional adjustments, ensuring that your habits continue to support your growth and well-being. As you embrace the long-term perspective, remember that sustaining habits is a journey, not a destination. It's about continually showing up, learning, and adapting. It's about building a life that reflects your values, priorities, and aspirations. The habits you cultivate are not just tasks to check off. They are the foundation of the person you are becoming. To bring this chapter to life, take a moment to reflect on the habits you've built. Which ones feel most aligned with your values and goals? Are there any that need adjustment to fit your current circumstances? Write down one habit you'd like to sustain for the next year and identify why it's meaningful to you. Then, think about one small way you can adapt or reinforce this habit to make it even more sustainable. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. The path you've created is uniquely yours, and it's a path worth walking for a lifetime. Conclusion: the journey forward. Throughout this book, we've explored the transformative power of cultivating positive habits and a growth-oriented mindset. From understanding the foundation of your mindset to setting clear goals, breaking old patterns, and celebrating milestones, each chapter has provided tools and insights to help you create lasting change. Along the way, you've learned to embrace challenges, nurture supportive relationships, and sustain your habits in meaningful ways. This journey is not about perfection. It's about persistence, self-discovery, and progress. Thank you for dedicating your time and energy to this journey of personal growth. Your commitment to building a life of purpose and positivity is inspiring. If you found this content valuable, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more insights on personal development. Remember, every step forward is a step closer to the life you envision. Keep growing and keep thriving.